Okay, so here we have a video of Based Zeus. This is one of his first ones actually, or at the beginning of when he made his channel. I remember his videos were pretty good. This was 6 years ago, so let's see if it's still relevant today, and I'll tell you, the good stuff and the stuff that I would do differently. Let's go.
You're texting a girl. She stops replying, and you start thinking, shit, what did I do wrong?
Okay, cool. Yeah, that happens to everyone. What did I do wrong? You should never think, what did I do wrong? Okay? It's always situational.
Has this ever happened to you? Or maybe you've spent weeks hitting up the same girl, only to be baffled when another guy gets her number and is already hanging out with her within a couple of days.
Listen, if you get a girl's number and it goes weeks and you've not even met her, I mean, again, it's your fault. You need to get the number and probably meet her at least within a week.
Texting's hard. We've all fucked up the texting before. Maybe you said something you shouldn't have and then immediately realized you just fucked up. Maybe you didn't know what to say or how to steer the conversation the way you wanted it to go. So today, I'm here to teach you 5 do's and 5 don'ts when texting girls. These are really simple things you can remember, or write them down if you need to, but they'll improve your text game significantly. Okay, here we go. Do. Text pretty quickly after getting a girl's number. You never want to wait more than, say, a maximum of like 2 days between getting a number and texting the girl.
Also, when you send that first text, relate it back to something that you were joking about when you were talking to her. All right? Because that'll bring her emotions back to the positivity that she had with you.
I usually do it the same day. This lets you keep up the momentum that you've already had and ensures that she doesn't lose interest or forget about you.
Yeah, and that can happen because, remember, guys approach girls all the time. So you want to kind of take the opportunity when it's there.
Don't send cheesy emojis, smileys, LOLs, or anything like that. It'll ruin any good impression she already has of you.
Yeah, don't try to be like a clown in messages by saying haha lol like all the time. In fact, you should send emojis only when she does. So if she doesn't send any emojis, then you don't need to either. All right? If she starts sending 1 or 2, then maybe you can, but to be honest, emojis you have to use very sparingly.
As a rule of thumb, if someone else were to read your text and think you were a girl, you're probably using too many fucking emojis, okay?
True.
Do. Use emojis, but sparingly. Now, you don't need to stop using them altogether. You just don't want to overdo it. Or send really
Don't send more emojis than her.
feminine kissy face ones all the time. Check out my other video on the best emojis to use and when to do it. Don't.
The best emojis are laughing face, the peach emoji as well, the arm emoji that, that kind of is tensed, with the bicep, and maybe a shock face. That's it.
Text her all day, every day. This is even worse than being the guy
and eye roll emoji too.
Who sends the kissy
Don't text her during the afternoon unless you're going to meet her in the evening.
Emojis all the time. Being the guy who contacts her all day long, every day about every little thing, nobody really gives a shit what you ate for lunch, or what you're doing right now, or that you got a good grade on an English test. Nobody cares. I mean, are you really that boring? Of course not. So you should text things that are cool and worthy of texting. Shit that makes her a little bit envious, a little bit curious. All right, do. Text enough to keep her interested. Now, just because you're not sending her 100 texts a day, it doesn't mean you want to wait 3 weeks before you text her again. Momentum's a big thing in dating and relationships. If the momentum dies, the relationship or the potential relationship also dies. You need to text enough to keep her interested in you and thinking about you.
Now, you're probably asking, how much is that? Well, a couple texts in the morning and a couple texts at night. That's about it, to be honest. You don't need anything more. And those texts shouldn't be like, how are you? How was your day? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe you can send that one every now and again, but say something that happened in your day. Even if you have to exaggerate it a little bit, it's better than nothing.
If you wait too long, she'll stop caring. Don't.
If you wait too long, she'll have 10 other people that might send better messages than you.
Be afraid to tease her. So now that you've nailed down when you should text her.
Yeah, teasing is great because it separates you from friend zone and something potentially more, so you have to tease her. If you don't, then you can't complain about getting in the friend zone.
You want to make sure your texts are actually useful. Don't be afraid to tease her or flirt with her. This is one time when emojis work well, so she knows you.
That emoji is also good as well.
Just messing around.
And wink.
You should tease her about little things she does or says because it shows you don't put her on a pedestal and are confident enough to tease her when other guys just suck up to her.
That's basic flirting.
Do. Use texting as a way to set up dates.
Texting should be, especially if you've never met her before, should be the reason why you're texting is to set up a date. Okay, you can get to know her a little bit. However, the whole point of getting to know each other is to text a little bit to check that we're not, you kind of half like each other, that you're not weird, and then set up a date. There has to be a purpose.
Don't forget what you're actually trying to do here. You're not looking for another text buddy. You're looking for a chick to go out with. Use texting as a way to set up plans. It's better than calling because...
And the general rule is between 10 and 15 messages, and then you can start looking to set up a date. Okay, some girls have higher interest, it'll only take 5 or 6. Some girls have lower interest, it might take a little bit longer. But you don't want to be texting for more than a week without any idea of meeting her.
Because it lets her reply when she's free. If you call and she doesn't answer, it already sets up the tone that you're the one who wants to go out with her. When the tone you really want is that you want to both go out with each other. Don't always text her first. A lot of guys do this.
And you know why guys always text her first? Because they don't have any other options, okay? So, you don't always need to text her first. You want her to also make an effort with you first as well. And if she does, that just proves to you that she likes you.
Text the girl, the conversation goes for a while, the girl stops replying. Then later, the guy texts again and repeats the process over and over. Well, all that does is set the tone that you're a lot more into her than she's into you. Don't text her good morning in the mornings. It's unnecessary. It just makes you look clingy. Be casual. You want your text to be casual and light. You don't want to bring up super complicated topics or heavy discussions or anything like that, because if the tone's too heavy, it'll just start pushing her away. And also, text isn't the best way to do it because it's really easy for someone to ignore a text if they start feeling overwhelmed. Now, if the girl you're talking to is into philosophy or she's majoring in astrophysics and you know she's into deeper topics, then sure, go ahead and bring them up. But if you're texting Bimbo Brittany that you met at a Justin Bieber concert last week, then randomly texting her, "Hey, I was just wondering what your opinion is on the philosophical and existential implications of the recent developments in quantum superposition effects being observed at the macroscopic level."
Okay, that's a great way to say every girl's different, okay? Now, there are general rules that work with each one, but if you find the blueprint of a girl, for example, a blueprint of a girl could be that she's really into family, all right? So then you talk about family. So what does your brother do or sister or whatever? Get to know them a little bit. And what that shows her is that, oh my God, he's actually interested in basically my core beliefs, which inadvertently says that you're also interested in that kind of thing as well. And it builds comfort a lot faster. Again, certain girls are into the nerdy stuff, certain girls are not. Some girls are into the gym, that kind of thing. Find their little niche. Each one has one. Some is much more easier to see, especially if you have the Instagram, you'll be able to see it if it's traveling, fitness, food, whatever. And some's a little bit more difficult, but that's what you want to hit into.
Holy fuck! Somebody strangle that son of a bitch! She's not gonna have a goddamned idea what the fuck you're talking about. It's just gonna push her away. See, if you're talking to someone in person and they don't like a topic, it's really easy for you to just change it. But if you're texting and they don't like the topic, it's really easy for them to just ignore the text and make you look stupid. Don't talk too much. If you can't think of anything good to say, don't say anything. If you think it's a good time to end the conversation, end it. Don't be afraid to end a conversation.
Exactly, that's it. So a lot of guys, text until the girl says, okay, I'm going to bed, good night. Imagine if you said that to her first. And think about it. Think about the feeling you get when she says that. You're like, oh, I want to talk to her a little bit more. Okay? If you do that to a girl, it never happens like that. She's never had that anyone do that before to her. So you stand out. Immediately you stand out and it's like, oh, so I'm not his priority. Okay, I want to be his priority now. So it's just so much better that sometimes you do that. If you're on the phone to her, like, all right, you know what? It's nice talking to you, but I've got to go. I'll give you a text later, or text me later, something like that. It's so much more powerful.
Bonus tip: set up a reason to text her often. For example, you've been talking to a girl in one of your classes, and you set up a vibe where you're both texting each other and discussing homework. It's really simple to get that going. I mean, it sounds legit. It might be, and it's a good way to create a conversation with someone without ever appearing like you're trying too hard. So that's it. I hope these tips have helped you. Remember to save them somewhere and start using them. You'll immediately see your success with texting improving. Hey, want more?
That's it. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, generally his stuff now actually works. I mean, this is the this is what works nowadays. He's saying correct things. The video is still valid in my opinion. And yeah, I hope to do some more of Base Zeus because I know some of his stuff is good. I think I've seen one or two things that I would disagree with, but yeah, all in all, pretty good. And I'll see you guys in the next video.